Hello and welcome to Men in Hoodies, the show for all things sports produced by AHS TigerLife. Grab your hoodie, let's start the show.
Today's show is going to focus primarily on Arlington Sports. Moving forward, Men in Hoodies will have a podcast that will feature our discussions on national sports updates and debates. Check it out on ahstigerlife.com following the release of this episode.
For the first segment of the show, we're going to go straight to Coach's Corner with Stacey Owers, the assistant boys coach and the girls soccer coach. Let's see what she has to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third edition of Coach's Corner here on Men in Hoodies. I'm Roman Cleary, and we got Coach Stacey Owers here, assistant coach on the men's soccer team and the head coach of the women's soccer team, who did quite well this past season, I might add. So Good job this past year. And the men's team is doing all right so far this season as well. But first, I guess I just want to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you came from, stuff like that. How'd you get here today?
I am originally from Southampton, England, and I moved over to the US in 2011 to pursue a collegiate soccer career. I graduated, moved to Memphis, and was at Christian Brothers University for 4.5 years, coaching at the Division II level. Then I moved over to Arlington, and this is my second year with Arlington Schools and with the athletic program.
Oh, wow. Where'd you play in college?
I went to junior college, Tyler Junior College in Texas for 2 years, and there we won a national championship, which was amazing, the best experience ever. And then I transferred to the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, which is a big Division I school, just 2 hours outside of Boston.
Right, so we're going to get to the men's soccer team here. First off, I just want to ask you, how do you think the season's just going overall this far?
I think the season's going great. We started slow, I would say. We had a couple of ties. I think we're actually now on 4 ties. But we quickly fixed that, and we've been fantastic since. We have our final district game next Thursday against Bartlett, which is massive because that is whoever wins, it will be whoever's hosting the game for district tournaments. Mm-hmm. So that's on Thursday of next week. We have played Collierville, Houston, and CBHS, which are some of the stronger teams around the area. We were beat by Collierville 1-0, and we were beat by CBHS 2-0, and then we lost to Houston 2-0 just on Tuesday. But we were very competitive, and it was really pleasing to see the boys follow not only tactical areas of the game, but they were really focused in all of their job duties.
So as this team has bonded and come together throughout the season, which of the players do you think have, shown the best leadership, the best, examples for everyone else throughout the year?
So I think leadership doesn't necessarily have to be the most vocal and the most talkative person on the team. Sometimes leadership is showing up for time.
Yeah, your actions speak louder than your words sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely. So showing up for time, doing the extra, hitting the lines, or putting your hand around your buddy and being like, hey, get it next time. So sometimes those things, go under the radar, but as a coaching staff, we notice them. So currently we actually have a sophomore who is a captain, and he's a great captain. And then there's another player, the captain is Jackson. And then the other player that I really want to point out is Jarek Lopez. He is a senior, and he has been fantastic for our freshman class. Even if he's not in the game, if he's on the field, on the bench, he's always supportive of him, and he's always rooting for his teammates. So those are 2 people on the team that, we're really, really proud of.
All right, and just to end this off, how confident are you in the team's chances as we approach the district tournament?
I am very confident in what our boys can do because we have been peaking from game to game, and we're so close. We're so close with Collierville, Houston, CBHS, and all of those big teams. So it's just a matter of time before we get rewarded for all of our hard work.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We're going to now send it back to the roundtable back in the studio. This has been Coach Stacey Owers from Arlington men and women's soccer. It's now time for the Tigers' top 3. Following the highlights, our reporter Jaron White will be joining us to discuss some Arlington sports. Let's take a look at the top 3 highlights from Arlington's softball matchup against Collierville.
Welcome to the roundtable segment of Men in Hoodies. Today we brought in special guest Jaron White, who's going to be leading us in some updates of some Arlington sports. So yeah, kick us off.
All right, so first we're going to talk about baseball. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the boys' baseball team this year.
Okay, so I got the opportunity to call 2 games with baseball, just a few weeks back. First performance against Briarcrest, not so hot if I'm being honest. Wyatt Guest got thrown out in the first inning after giving up 9 runs, and the Tigers went on to lose that 16-14. Came back towards the end there, and then we had a little bit of a lower scoring contest against Bartlett Tuesday, April 26th, where Joseph Cowell put in one heck of an outing, pitched all 7 innings, but at the end of the day, his batters just weren't able to support him on the other end. So Bartlett won that one 3-1. So to me, Arlington baseball, they're a little bit inconsistent, I guess, with the bats. They really need to, make more contact with the ball and get on base a lot more because, they can't just keep on leaving their pitchers stranded out there trying to win the game, by themselves and all that.
Yeah. And I'm not as familiar in the baseball world as I am involved in other sports, but they are 19-9, which that's 10 games over 500, which means that they're doing something right, even if they're not winning games or if they're having terrible games in the process of good games. They're still winning games. And they're winning a good bit. So I'd say that they're having a good season. It'll all be dependent on if they can put it together to make it to state or not. Don't have a very big insight on the baseball team completely, but I do know that they're doing pretty good record-wise, and if they have to beat Collierville and Houston if they want to get to state. So that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, lots of juniors stepping up too. So you got those, guys who'll be there next year that are doing well.
Yes, sir. I heard Joseph Cowell is a pretty good pitcher. Any other thoughts about him, Roman?
I mean, he's pretty awesome. He's really long. He can go pretty much the distance there. So, yeah, nothing to complain about when it comes to Joseph Cowell. He's pretty fantastic.
Okay. That's nice. Boys soccer. So, I heard you guys did the coaches' corner. What else do you have to say about soccer this year?
Yeah, we interviewed Coach Owers and, talking really high about the team, talking about some leaders that stepped up like Derek Lopez, who's a senior, leading out to the underclassmen. So I really like where they're going. Hopefully they can, make it over the edge and, make a run in the postseason.
The soccer team, they're a very, very experienced group, have a lot of seniors and all that. So I'm very hopeful that they're going to be able to get over the hump this year, make it state, go pretty far. So.
And Brandon, you're our track guy here. So what do you have to say about the track season this year?
We've had our ups and downs for sure so far. We got sectionals coming up next week, so of course me and you got something to look forward to there, representing for the track side. But we gotta unite our sprinters and our distance guys together if we wanna make a run at state for sure. But we got Jay White and Mr. Byers heading up our sprinters group, and we got me and Anne Marie and some of the other key people heading up the distance crew. So we'll see if we can do it. It's been a good season so far. You should definitely come out and support it if you haven't yet.
All right, for sure. Now let's look ahead to football. What do you guys expect from the upcoming Arlington football team?
I don't have much of a clue, if I'm being honest, because, Coach Miller's probably going to come in and bring in his own guy at quarterback and all that. Buchanan could end up being the guy, but, we'll see how that goes. And, the 2 top weapons are going to be Torres and Carter McKay. So McKay's going to be coming as a junior, Torres as a senior. So I'm expecting another developmental year for the Tiger football team, but they could definitely surprise some people. They have some decent talent.
I think it's going to come down to the future seniors upcoming next year have been waiting a very long time for this moment. Most of the team is going to be upperclassmen this year, so if the moment is going to happen, I think it's going to happen now. And if you have this huge group of seniors that have been waiting a long time to do something special, so if they want their opportunity to do it, they're going to need to put the pieces together now and start to find a way to win games. Even if you don't have, say, the greatest running back that's getting all the offers, you can still have a great team that's a bunch of level players that can win games together. I think that comes down a lot to the offensive line and getting them set up to help protect whoever they end up throwing behind the line. It could be one of many people. So that'll be something to look forward to, seeing who they end up putting at the helm, loading up the offense. But I think that lots of steady guys that could come together to make a good team if they want to make a run at something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you talk about John Davis last year and him not being here. I mean, that was the focus of every team that we played. I mean, they were trying to stop John Davis. If you stopped John Davis, you beat Arlington. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how it worked. So I think from here on out, you've got a guy like Colin Spears coming in, solid running back, and then obviously everybody knows about the quarterback battle. You've got Grant, you've got maybe Drew Benjamin coming back to play football, you've got your brother Jackson Lyons, you've got Cole Leaptrot. You've got 4 guys who could, realistically start for this team. So I think that, like you said, a bunch of the upperclassmen are going to be leading this team next year. I think this could be a solid team, 5-6 wins if we can pull it together. I mean, with Tommy coming in, you've got a new playbook, you've got all these new things that could mesh. So I like the future for Arlington football.
Yeah, I was actually able to see one of their practices and pads this year for the spring, and they looked pretty good. Guys are out there working hard. Some players y'all need to look forward to watching are definitely Jordan Batts and Carter Wood. Definitely some guys to keep y'all's eyes on.
With the rise of name, image, and likeness in college athletics, along with other forms of branding across all levels of competition, social media has definitively made its mark on the sports world. But what exactly does that mark look like? How does social media affect not just the players, but coaches, teams, fans, and even journalists like us talking to you here today? We explore that question and more right now on Men in Hoodies.
I think social media has affected the sports world dramatically.
I think social media has had a really positive effect on sports.
I think the social media has a positive effect on the sports industry.
Because, it can affect players, let's say, sports players. It can affect them in a good way, get them out there to colleges, possibly the NFL, and get them out there to show their true abilities and stuff. It can also promote players that are already in the league, such as, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, show their stats. It can tell people more about the program.
You can see people get sponsored like that. People get looks, scouts like that. By social media, it can get you really far in a positive way just by getting looked at or making it further into whatever career you want to do.
More exposure for kids. They can post the highlights for other college coaches to see.
And getting the word out there, more people can watch games if they know more about it.
So you've got guys like Adrian Wojnarowski and Adam Schefter who can report news like that. I mean, once something big happens in the sports world, with a click of a finger.
So they now post clips and highlight reels and contests and all sorts of stuff on their own social media pages to promote fan engagement and really connect the fan with the athletes themselves.
The negative, I'll say, is kids want to showboat more. If they see somebody else do something cool after a big play, they're going to try to do that in a negative way.
People will post bad highlights if you do that just to bash you. It can really bring your momentum down also.
It can affect how a college sees them, how the league sees them, how professional players see them. Overall, it can really spread really, really fast depending on what you post and who you are.
The media affects a lot of what people think about sports. And whatever people like to put out there, that's what people listen to and then use that to argue with other people about it. So I think that there's a lot of false information. There's a lot of opinions that are wrong out there that when people look at it, it kind of affects their opinion on the sports world, but that's just my opinion. So.
Alongside Evan Fargo and Jason Rangel, this is Roman Cleary reporting for AHS TigerLife. And now we're going to end off today's show with some game predictions, or to be more specific in this case, series predictions going on in the NBA playoffs right now. We're going to start out with the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. Tied 1-1 right now. We got up to 5 games to go. Jake, who do you got winning this series?
See, I love how hot the Celtics have been, but I've been high on the Bucks all year. The Bucks were actually my NBA champion. My prediction, I had them in 6 against the Warriors. So I'm going to go Bucks here. Without Middleton, I think Giannis can get it done.
What about you?
And I'm going to have to say, I'm going to go against Jake. I will say Celtics in 7. I think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum kind of had a learning experience. Their first game against the Bucks kind of had a rough stretch. Got their world rocked first game. They figured it out second game, got their feet on the ground, and I think that the dynamic duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is going to get it done.
The deal for me is that I think the Nets series made the Celtics look a lot better than what they are. I'm going to go with the Bucks here in 6, moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't really see any team in the East stopping them from getting to the NBA Finals. For now, we're going to move on to perhaps the biggest series of conversation between the three of us, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors, also tied at 1-1. And I'm going to start out. I'm going to go with Grizzlies in 7 to finish this out. I think the Grizzlies' depth will ultimately win out. And also, I think when Steven Adams returns, that's going to make a big difference. So, yeah, give me the Grizzlies to win this in 7 at home.
See, I agree with you. I like the depth. I love the depth of the Grizzlies. My original prediction was Warriors in 7, and that hasn't changed. I think the Warriors, based off their lineup, if Klay decides to step it up and actually learn to play basketball again, I think the Warriors have this in 7. Go Grizzlies all the way. I just don't think we can get it done.
For me, I'm sticking with my team, Dubs forever. I have Warriors, between Warriors in 7 and Warriors in 6, I'm going to go 6. I think that we'll find a way to get it done early.
Ooh. So you think you win both in San Francisco?
I think we grab both in San Francisco. I still think it's going to be one of the greatest series ever. It's going to start a budding rivalry. I think that it's really going to come down to our big playmakers stepping up. Draymond, Klay, Steph. We can use our younger guys, but at the end of the day, it needs to come back down to the championship caliber players that we've had in the past. We can't be relying on Jordan Poole to get it done. Our all-stars and our top 75 players of all time need to be the ones getting it done. We also need to play clean basketball. So far, this series has been pretty dirty. So
both sides for sure.
Yeah, cleaning it up and just playing good, clean basketball would be nice for me. But I got Golden State in 6.
I can't wait to hear more about that on the podcast, Brent, but we got to move on to 76ers and the Miami Heat. And the big question that we have here for this series, can the 76ers win a game without Joel Embiid?
I'll go first on this one. I think 76ers could maybe win a game, like get lucky if somebody has an off night, because the Heat are kind of hit or miss when it comes to players like getting on a run. So I think that there's a chance that they could steal a game, possibly 2, but I really don't see the 76ers getting far without Joel Embiid. James Harden is no longer that lead player that can just take over completely, I don't think. I think he relies on another player to be with him in order to win these games. So I'm actually going to say Heat in 6. I think that Philadelphia will grab 2 games, but they'll still pull it out. So, yeah.
So the original report on Embiid is that he was going to be out for 2 games minimum. Tonight, Wednesday night, is his 2nd game out so far this series. I think the Sixers have the potential to grab a game, because you say that he can't do it by himself, which he can't. He's got guys like Tobias Harris, a very good veteran who can shoot the ball. Tyrese Maxey, one of the best young players in the league who can drop 30 if you want him to. I mean, this team is not bad, and it's a decent team. They've also got DeAndre Jordan. You have your opinions on him, but I think they will grab a game in Philly. And then if you have Embiid back, I think this is just as much of a series as it was beforehand.
I think, though, that it comes back to the Warriors thing where you have to rely on your players that have been here before, and expecting Maxey to be the one to step up and drop 30 if you want him to. You have to rely on Tobias Harris and James Harden here, and if they can't get it done, you can't expect Maxey to be the one to do it either. If he does, that's fine, but you have to rely on your big playmakers that have been here before.
These are 2 teams that I'm just, quite frankly, not very high on. If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of either the Heat or the 76ers. I think the Bucks would easily destroy either of them in the 7-game series. But at the end of the day, Miami's a deeper team. They're the better coach team, so I think they wrap this up with Philly in 5. And we're going to now go to our last series here, the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. And I think Phoenix should wrap this one up pretty easily. Also in 5 games, because Luka is Luka. But yeah, Suns, best team in the NBA right now, in my opinion. I think they'll probably win the championship against the Bucks in the finals. Jake, what do you got?
I love the Suns. I mean, I love how good the Suns have been. Even with that stretch without Booker, they've still been solid. I think they take this in 5 or 6. I could even see a sweep. I'm not even kidding. Luka had, close to 50 points the other night? Still lost. Like, these guys for the Suns, like, Luka can hit all the shots he wants. They've got 5 guys who can do the same thing. Not like Luka, but they can still hit shots consistently. I got the Suns. They should wrap it up pretty quickly.
I believe the Suns will win. I believe we are eventually going to see what the NBA wants in a Suns and Warriors series, which is what I believe the NBA is trying to get at money-wise. I think that we are underrating the potential of the Mavericks-Suns series, though. I really do think the Mavericks can do something with it. I think they have the playmakers with Spencer Dinwiddie and the upcoming with Jalen Brunson to maybe win a game or two like the Pelicans did. Of course, they did that without Devin Booker, but I think it is still a possibility for them to make it a decent series. Do I think it'll go to 7? No. Do I think that they even have a chance to win? No. But I think they could, at max, take it to 6, but I have Suns in 5. So
I mean, when you got a guy like Luka, you
Yeah.
can't count anything
Yeah.
else. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap up the show of Men in Hoodies. We're looking forward to bringing back this show next year. But thank you for all the support, and thank you for the people who watched it this year. Especially thank you to Roman as his final send-off. Thank you for his 4 long years of service to Arlington media and broadcasting. So we'd like to thank you. Do you have any final words as your last video is about to go up?
Well, I guess I just want to say more than anything else, just thank you to Arlington and the brand and the platform that they have given me to, give the best work I can possibly give or whatever. I mean, when we started this out, freshman year, we were just streaming on like iPads and whatnot. And then here we are a few years later, it's a full-on like ESPN, full camera set level production. So it's a huge privilege for someone in high school to get to experience that. This is a top-level media program that I know is going to continue to just thrive in the future, especially with you two leading the way with it next year. But yeah, overall, thank you so much, Arlington. I'm never going to forget this, and hope I did a decent enough job being the voice, quote unquote, of your Tigers for the past couple of years.
Well, no one can deny the talent you have. Well, that's a wrap. We will see you next year.